Oh, I don't think I've been in any other church like this.
Monumental Church in downtown Richmond.
Honestly, I don't think that most people driving by know what happened on this site.
Danielle Worthing-Porter with Historic Richmond says the building has been watching over East Broad Street for more than 2 centuries.
I think that this site is really key to part of Richmond's history.
But the reason Monumental was built overshadows the architecture.
What happened on this site that night was one of the greatest tragedies that the city had ever experienced.
Writer Harry Kolach Jr. says it is a sinister tale that still reverberates over the decades.
December 26, 1811.
In the early 19th century, Richmond had a reputation for debauchery.
Lots of gambling, best parties, best dancers.
Historian Meredith Henny Baker says the Richmond Theater attracts large audiences.
And the theater was a big part of the entertainment scene. It was wildly popular.
On the night after Christmas, 1811, an overcapacity crowd of 600 squeezes into the theater for a play. The audience, a cross-section of Richmond, including Virginia's new governor, George Smith.
It was black and white, free and slave, wealthy and middling class.
But during a scene change, the night's revelry takes a swift and fatal turn.
So a stagehand lifts the candles up into the fly, but the candles aren't extinguished.
Part of the set in the rafters catches fire.
And pieces of scenery start flaking down like snowflakes. It's pretty chilling.
Performers scream dire warnings.
The actor on stage is gesturing and saying, "There's a fire." People are just watching him because they don't understand this isn't part of the show.
Flickering flames erupt into an inferno.
No, there was never any hope that this fire could be put out.
People try pushing and clawing their way out.
What several people mention is how quickly the place goes black.
Doors that open inward and windows nailed shut create a death trap.
You can also see people attempting to escape out the windows, dropping from the windows, some head first, some by their feet.
The balcony collapsed, trapping many underneath it. And the exits were clogged, and it was an enormous horror.
I think it would have been a truly hellacious scene. Horrible noises, desperation of hundreds of people trying to escape from this building.
Using first-hand accounts, Miss Baker pieces together a timeline that awful night for her book, The Richmond Theater Fire.
We have reports of people who froze, who couldn't move, who wouldn't leave despite the theater burning around them.
During the calamity, Dr. James McCaw, trapped inside, and Gilbert Hunt, an enslaved blacksmith who ran to the scene, rise to the occasion.
And they start lowering women through the window, one of the upstairs windows.
While many flee, the two strangers work in tandem.
Once McCaw breaks the window open, he sees Gilbert Hunt down below, and they set up this relay, and they end up saving over a dozen women before McCaw is forced to jump out himself when he feels the flames at his back.
The pair would forever be known as heroes of the Richmond Theater Fire.
We don't know the names of the women they saved. There are probably thousands of people walking around who owe their lives to those two men on that night.
Their brave actions, one of the lone bright spots during the disaster.
The work that Gilbert Hunt and that Dr. McCaw did stands out.
But what is left? An unimaginable landscape.
It was the largest urban tragedy to occur in the United States at that time, so it really was akin to like that day's 9/11.
More than 70 people perish, teenagers, entire families, and Governor Smith.
They created 2 giant mahogany coffins, and they put all of the bodies together, male, female, black, white, enslaved, free. Everyone went in the coffins together.
I try to be really respectful when I come down here.
Historic Richmond's Danielle Worthing-Porter says Monumental Church was built atop the final resting place.
We are at ground zero. So this was the front yard of the theater.
When it opened in 1814, Monumental Church served as a place of worship and a place to mourn.
This is the crypt, and this is where 71 of the 72 victims of the theater fire are buried.
This sacred ground is rarely open to the public.
We are stewards of this site, of the crypt, of the building, and the site as a whole.
This is one of the treasures here at the Library of Virginia. This is the playbill from the evening of the fire.
Historian Meredith Henny Baker says for a decade following the fire, leaders banned stage performances in Richmond.
And theater wasn't the problem, the building was the problem.
As we approach the 210th anniversary, Meredith shudders to think the victims of the Richmond theater fire died in vain.
Many disasters that we encounter are preventable, and I hope that that encourages people to think deeply about what sort of meaningful activities can we do to prevent these things from happening over and over again in the future.
For I Have a Story, I'm Greg McQuaid, CBS 6 News.